So, being a chemistry teacher, I'm here to start the first chapter of your syllabus, that is chemical equations and reactions. So, once you hear the term chemical reaction, the question that comes to one's mind is, what is a chemical reaction? So, chemical reaction is actually what? It is a chemical change. Okay, this is not a new term for you all. You must have learned about two types of changes, that is a chemical change and a physical change. So let's recapitulate it once again, that is, what is the difference between physical change and chemical change. But I will begin this by taking some examples of physical change and chemical change. Physical change. First, melting of ice. Second, boiling of water. Third, freezing of water, and many more. These are basic examples. Now let's see some examples of chemical change. First, burning of coal. Second, burning of candle. Third, rusting of iron. Fourth, digestion of food. We can take so many examples like curdling of milk, ripening of fruits. So what is the difference between these physical changes and chemical changes? The most important difference is that physical changes, these are temporary changes. They are temporary in nature. And these are permanent changes. That is, once they are, the change happens, they cannot be reverted back. These are reversible in nature. These are in general irreversible. For example, say freezing of water. To freeze water, you take some water, keep it in the refrigerator, it will freeze. But if you want to get the water back, just take it out of the refrigerator, it will again melt and will get back the water. So that's why they are not permanent, they are temporary and they are reversible. But suppose if you talk about burning of coal, you take a piece of coal, burn it. Once it is burned, it changes into ash. Now the question is, can you get back the ash into coal again? No. That means what? These changes are what? They are permanent in nature and they are irreversible. So any chemical reaction is also a kind of chemical change. That means in this chapter we are required to think in terms of chemical change. So chemical reaction is a chemical change. So now it's a time to define a chemical reaction. So what is a chemical reaction? Now students, whenever you see or sit for studying, you must sit taking a notebook and a pen with yourself so that you can learn and keep on writing for future revision. See how to define chemical reaction. A chemical reaction is a type of chemical change in which substances called reactants changes to form new substances called products. So what is a chemical reaction? A chemical reaction is a type of chemical change. Remember, it is a type of chemical change in which substances taken in the beginning, I have missed this word, taken in the beginning. We have to start with a substance called, the substances that we will take, they are called reactants, changes to form new substances called product. That means in a chemical reaction what happens? Reactants, always remember, in a chemical reaction what will happen? A reactant will always change into product. Okay students, so chemical reaction means conversion of reactants into product. In other ways we can also say that chemical reaction is a type of process in which new substances are formed, or a chemical reaction is a process in which two or more substances react to form new substances. This is another way of defining it. So that is the definition of chemical reaction. Now let us see some examples of chemical reaction. Say, burning of magnesium wire. What will happen here? Magnesium will react with oxygen that is present in water and change into a new substance called magnesium oxide. So these two substances, magnesium, oxygen, these are the reactants. When they react, what will happen? A new substance will be formed called product. Now you know this reaction, when this reaction occurs, it burns with a dazzling white flame. Whenever this reaction will occur, magnesium will burn with dazzling. That means there will be shining, dazzling white flame. This is a characteristic of this reaction. It burns with a dazzling white flame. So this is one example, that is burning of magnesium. Another example that we can take is electrolysis of water. Electrolysis of water. What happens in water? Electrolysis of water, we take water, we pass electric current and it changes into hydrogen and oxygen. So this water, this is the reactant, and the two new substances that are formed, they are the products. So we are seeing that in any chemical reaction, what will happen? There will be conversion of reactants into products. So this is the introductory class of the first chapter, that is chemical reaction and equation. So that's all for today. In the next video we will learn about the characteristics of chemical reaction. So take care, all the best.